Yeah, so no, I'd been looking for one for a while, Chevelle. Probably a good 15 years, hard to find. Had the feelers out there amongst a few mates, always looking, checking the mags, all that sort of stuff overseas. Got a couple of mates that live in America. Always letting them know if they see something, let us know. Come across a couple, they sent photos out, rusted out. Just typical of the Chevelles, obviously. The snow, they put the salt in the ground, it just eats them away. So just, yeah, always looking for one, and I ended up looking in a magazine and I seen this pop up, and I thought, that's an American magazine, but it was a Queensland number. And I was kind of thought, that can't be right, I better ring it. So I rang it and spoke to this old bloke, Bob. Just said to him, mate, you selling a Chevelle? And he said, yeah. He said, I've had it up for sale for a while. You're the second person to call. Don't know what's going on. I thought these people want these things. I didn't say nothing. And I just said to him, I said, mate, it's what I'm after. Send me some photos. So pretty much got off the phone, he texted them through. Thought, cool. So I rang him about 10 o'clock at night and just said to him, just booked a plane ticket, I'm coming up to have a look. Got the plane, straight up there. He picked me up at the airport, took me out to his house. Nice old bloke. Went and had a look at the car and started talking to him about it, and just said to me that it's caught up in an estate, it's a deceased estate. He said his best mate owned the car, got it out from the States. Massive issue with it because he got it from a deceased estate. So nobody had really driven the car was pulled down. I was just asking him, what's the issue with it? Am I able to buy it? And he said, yeah. He said, within the next 2 to 3 days I'll know. And it was his best mate who owned, he had a fair bit of money, owned some land, owned $20 million in land, and he passed away, and he had that house and this car was in that estate. And he was 65, the guy that was inherited it, the money, the whole lot. He said, mate, I've got a busted hip, I'm a truck wrecker, I have no interest in this car. He just said, I'm just trying to get a quid for it. Yeah. And he wanted a fair bit of money for it, being pulled down and it wasn't running, stuff like that. He knew they were valuable, he knew it was a good car, and so kind of said to him, like, threw a figure at him, and he kind of said nah, kind of insulted him. And he said stay for a beer, and we didn't talk about the car again. We didn't talk about money or anything like that. We just talked about the history of the car, and it was an awesome history. And I said to him, look, it's getting dark now and I've got to get back on my plane. And he said, okay, I'll take you to the airport. And got to the airport, and then he said, have a good day. I said, yeah. And he said, so that figure that you offered me, he goes, is that something you could wire me? I said, yeah, I could wire you the money next couple of days. He said, okay. He goes, got talking to you, I like you, car's going to go to a good home. And he said, sold. So I pretty much jumped on the plane, went home, and pretty much trying to organise a trailer to get it back next week. That was one thing. So it was a matter of getting the motor out of it and stripping it down, seeing how bad it was. It was never been rebuilt. It only had a 327 in it. That's what it left the factory in. I pulled that out, and I got rid of that, a couple $100, and then picked up a 454, and I thought, you know, like, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to just rebuild it, just keep it as a cruiser, or put some serious horsepower into it? And I was umming and ahhing, so just got the motor running, 454 stocker, just cruised around with it for a little bit, just wanted to get the feel of the car. Do I want this? Do I want just a stock 454, maybe just fuel injected, just something I can cruise around in, nothing too wild. I've done that before and I didn't want to go down that road again. And then got a mate that's got a Chevelle, and he had a 454 and it was going around me, so I didn't like that. So I ended up, thought that's it, the motor's coming out and that's it, I'm going to go full hog on it, do a few things to it. And I thought, I'm going to stroke it, I want to stroke it. And I was talking to an engine builder, and he said, like, we'll get it to a 496. And I said, nah, I've got to take it to a 502. I want a 502. Let's stroke it. So, and just wanted to build a torquey motor. That's all I wanted, something to torque, something that didn't have to rev. And so I ended up pulling a couple of 100 horsepower out of it. I said to the builder, I said, look, you know, 650, I'd be happy with that from the flywheel. So he was talking 750, 800. I said, nah, it's too much. And then we ended up having a bit of an argument towards the end. And I went to his shop at the time. He had all the rotating assembly in, had the crank in and the pistons. And I said, they're not my pistons. It's not my crank, you know. I said, you're going too big on this. It's not what I wanted. He goes, yeah, you'll be happy when it's done. I said, no, it's not what I want. So I told him to put the stuff in that I had purchased. He ended up putting it in. And then it took me another 6 weeks to kind of get the head sorted, and that kind of upset me because he was changing the heads on it too. Because I wanted the cast heads on it as well. I didn't want to go alloy heads. I've had issues with them before, the separation. So I didn't want to go down that road, and I went, you know what, like, this is just getting too hard. Give me my motor back and I'll finish it off myself. Thought, yeah, I've got to pick my spots. Like, I can't just cruise in the city and sit there in traffic. That's not good for it. But I can drive it anywhere, you know. So I won't drive there to the city and just sit in traffic. It's just pointless. It's not what I want to do anyway. It's good for car shows. I cruise out to the car shows. Man, I can sit in traffic. It's fine, you know. So it's serving its purpose.
It's always good to have that network too if you need parts.
100%, and that's what it's all about. You know, there's always something I'm chasing or somebody else is chasing it, and you've met someone along the way and you just go, yeah, I know a guy's got that, you know. And I've had a few Chevelle guys come up to me and go, yeah, you know what I mean, like, it's good to know another Chevelle guys out there. Not many of us around.
Yep.
And there's not, you know, there's a few 71, 72s running around, handful of 69s. I've only ever seen 3 or 4 68s. They're just rare. The car, all the paperwork I got from the DMT from the States, the vehicle was only registered 2 years of its life. That's it, 2 years. So I got all the paperwork, I got all the proof. When I did all the certificate of compliance into the country, I chased all that up, and I got it all because it was in a deceased estate, so they had it all. So it said last known mileage on it was 22,000 miles. So I had purchased the car with 22,000 miles, and when it was in this country in Queensland, held in the estate, it hadn't touched a New South Wales, Queensland road either. It was from a tilt tray straight into a garage. So it was tilted into the garage, it never touched the road. So pretty much when I picked it up, I wheeled it out of the garage and put it straight onto a trailer. So it didn't touch like a Queensland road either. So. Yeah, cruise it, show it and enjoy it. I've been doing that since August last year. I've taken it to a few shows, won a couple. Yeah, just loved it. With every show I've gone to, someone's offered me money for it. There's plenty of guys out there with deep pockets. I've got a guy who's hassling me now. You know, he's willing to throw 120, 150 at it, which is just crazy money, you know. Do I think it's worth that? No, you know, but they say, everybody says that there is a dollar figure and it will let the car go. And I was only at Cronefest at Gosford and in October, and that's where I met the guy, and he still rings me now. He says, I'm not going to leave you alone, it's what I want, it's a quality car. And he said it's a cruiser, and he just said to me, I've got a holiday house in Gosford, I live here in Parramatta, I want something to cruise up there on the weekends, you know. So he knows the car can do that. So he knows what it takes. It's going to take big money to build something like that.
Absolutely.
And they don't have the time, they don't have the patience.
And that's the thing too, time's money.
It is.
So you're going to save yourself 3-4 years of work.
100%. And they can just hand the money over, and I nearly did it. I come home and I spoke to the wife and I said, I'm never going to get that offer again. Do I take it? And she's like, she never gets in the car. She doesn't like cars. She doesn't. And she said no. I said yes and she said no. So it kind of struck me. I went, wow, I said, how come? She goes, kids love it. You know what I mean? They respect it. They love it. You take them for an ice cream in it. The smiles on their faces is we can't sell the car. So that was it. I was done. I said, nah. But the guy flicks me a message every now and again, One day it could be hard up for cash. Take it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to buy nothing. It is good to know, if you ever get stuck, and it's good having a car like that, you've got something that somebody wants and they're willing to pay a good price for it. Hey, I'm Rob, I own a 68 Chevelle and I'm on killer rides.